are approaching the end of January, and maybe your best intentions on sticking with your daily habits didn't quite go as planned. Now, we all get sidetracked from time to time, so if you're looking for a little extra motivation for 2023, this video is for you. I'm a big believer in starting out small. Think tiny pieces of the goals that we want to achieve. I've seen videos similar to this where you're doing all of the healthy habits, all of them in one day for 1 week at a time, which I think is great and is definitely the goal, at least for me, to keep stacking on these daily healthy habits. But how do you actually get started? Because I think that it's really difficult to just throw so many new things at you all at one time. What happens if you wake up early and you make your bed, but then you don't get your workout in, or you don't get around to journaling, or you stop at McDonald's on your way home for dinner? It is very easy to get down on ourselves and think of that day as a failure, which then doesn't really give you the motivation to complete your healthy habits for the next day. So then the next day, you just don't have that drive to complete them, so you don't do them. So then the next day, you're now just putting yourself in the habit of not doing your healthy habits. But no matter what your yesterday looked like, that is not your today. You can jump back into your routine and get back into those daily healthy habits. And for the sake of this video, we're gonna be doing one healthy habit over the next 12 days. So 12 healthy habits in 12 days. I personally have found when I start my morning off with healthy habits, it keeps me more motivated to keep doing more healthy habits throughout the day. And over the years, I have been able to stack these habits. So my regular day-to-day activities can look like these 12 healthy habits all stacked up together. But that is definitely not where I started. I started small. I started tiny. Waking up a whopping 5 minutes early, kind of small. And while it took time, it did eventually change my life. And in the end, it was also absolutely worth it. So the 12 healthy habits that we are focusing on for this video are waking up early, mindful consumption, morning movement, gratitude practice, quality sleep, organize and declutter, make my bed and journal each morning, my night routine, track my finances, a solo date, home cooked meals, and rewarding myself. Comment the habits that you want to get into with your routine, and let's get started. First up is wake up early. And like I mentioned, this was a difficult one for me, and one where I did have to start off really small. I used to sleep until 9 a.m. at a minimum, and I would typically stay up until at least 3 a.m. working. When I realized I wanted and needed to change my life, I started to become aware of what I was consuming and made a few small changes that made the biggest differences. I go over this in my first video on this channel, but I wasn't listening or reading or seeking out information that was inspiring me. I was binging reality TV and catching up with Dramageddon on YouTube. Slowly, I started incorporating podcasts from successful female entrepreneurs amongst my sports podcasts. I picked up a financial book to read between my rom-coms, and I started watching videos on healthy habits, morning routines, and fitness workouts. And slowly, everything changed, and one of those was building my morning routine, and this was something that almost every single person that I was looking up to was saying that they had developed over the years. When you hear something repeated over and over and over, sometimes it finally just clicks. You might hear me repeat myself in my videos because I needed that information repeated to me for years before I finally started to get it. But waking up earlier makes me feel so much more productive each day. I started off with just 5 minutes earlier, really doing nothing more than a little bit more skincare. And then 10 minutes earlier, making myself a cup of coffee in the morning. And then I got to 30 minutes earlier and started doing a workout in the morning instead of trying to rush it at night. And then I was waking up an hour earlier, getting in a walk with my dog and doing a little reading on my couch. I went from 9 a.m. to 6 a.m. and it took me years to get there. Start with just a few minutes earlier, but also remember that that looks different to everyone. My 6 a.m. might be someone else's 9 a.m. My 6 a.m. might be your 4 p.m. We have different schedules, we have different lives, and we don't have to be alarm clock twins. Number 2 is mindful consumption. Like what I said earlier, once I changed my habits of how I was spending my free time, everything began to change. I listened, I absorbed information, I asked questions. My conversations with those around me began to change. Instead of being the gossip queen that I very cringily was referred to as in college, I was now talking to those around me about themselves, their careers, their goals, their daily routines, and not what person A, B, or C was up to. I started seeking out more knowledge, and I realized I wasn't actually investing in my 401k that I was so proud that I had rolled over when I quit my corporate job. I asked questions and I began to understand a business structure better, so when 2021 rolled around, I could launch my own brand. I am not saying that you have to give 100% of your free time to personal growth. I still love reading Chick Lit. Part of My Take, which is a popular sportscast run by two dudes, was my top podcast on Spotify for 2021, and I just finished a show called The Dark Side of the 90s on Hulu. But the majority of my time and energy gets invested into myself, into consuming content that inspires me and motivates me. Day number 3, we're focusing on morning movement. Now, building a morning routine also meant getting my workouts in earlier, and getting that done first thing in the morning means a huge item is checked off my list. When I was sleeping until 9 and immediately shuffling into my office to start on emails, I would push my workouts off until the end of the day. Or sometimes I would just skip them altogether because I simply ran out of time. Now, even though I'm an entrepreneur with a flexible schedule and I work from home, I do have structure. I'm awake by 6:30, but I won't let myself go into my office or start social media on my phone until 9 a.m. This gives me time for my skincare routine, breakfast, walking my dog, working out, and also tidying up my apartment. I've also learned that for myself, who struggles with high cortisol levels, working out at night is not actually great for me. Often spiking the cortisol right before I'm trying to sleep will prevent me from having quality sleep. That was an extra boost for me to get my workout done in the AM. Sunlight in the morning is also a great thing for your circadian rhythm or your internal timing system. I also started sleeping with my blinds half open, so when I wake up, it is to natural sunlight coming right into my bedroom, and I try to get my walk in first thing in the morning, usually within the first 30 minutes to an hour of me waking up. Again, sometimes our climate might have a say in this. Right now it's currently raining. Some days we simply don't have sunshine, but it's a great thing to aim for. Day number 4, we are working on a gratitude practice. A gratitude practice is something that I started to incorporate into my night routine many years ago, but it became more than just a structured practice. Sometimes when I'm driving and I see the beautiful mountains, I literally yell in my car. The mountains are so beautiful and I love living here. I'm originally from Iowa and I moved to Las Vegas in April of 2021 after my divorce. I have to take moments of reflection where I look around at the beautiful scenery. I can see the strip when I'm driving to Starbucks. The snow on the mountain is absolutely stunning, and something about a Target surrounded by palm trees just gets me in my feels, and those little moments matter. But I also have a gratitude journal that I write in every night. The one I have available through my brand has a mixture of prompted and unguided pages. Some days I just free write everything that made me feel grateful. Someone holding a door for me at the post office, the yummy salted caramel cold foam on my iced chai, my financial freedom, my career, endless opportunities, my passion for helping others and building a community. It all gets written down. On the guided pages, I think about my highs for the day. I write down what inspired me and what healthy habits I worked on. And it's all in one journal, separate from my morning affirmations and my to-do list. It's one place to think about nothing but what I'm grateful for. And I also have that to come back and read when I need a little inspiration or pick me up. Day number 5, focusing on quality sleep. And for this, I don't just mean getting more sleep, I mean the actual quality of your sleep. This was a big area of focus for me after getting my labs back, seeing my high cortisol levels, and getting an adrenal PCOS diagnosis. My doctor stressed the importance of both quantity and quality sleep, aiming for 7 to 9 hours each night, which my 20-something self was laughing at the luxury, and actually staying asleep, not waking up every few hours, which is what I've been used to for the past several years. One big area of focus for me was putting down my phone and shutting off the TV at night. Again, talking about your circadian rhythm, blue light is not great for you, especially right before you go to sleep. And I notice on nights that I do watch TV, Sunday Night Football, I'm looking at you, I often wake up at least twice during that night. So my weeknights look like putting my phone on the charger in a different room, reading with some tea before sleep, and listening to a meditation on the Insight Timer app to help me focus on something instead of my wandering thoughts and cluttered mind. I'm usually asleep within 15 minutes now, which is unheard of for me, and I sleep throughout the night. Day number 6, organize and declutter. This is an area of absolute chaos for me, and it always has been. I am really determined to stick to better habits this year, like spending at least 15 minutes of my morning routine organizing one spot of my apartment. Whether it be the kitchen counter, my clothes pile, or wiping down my bathroom vanities, something has to get done in the morning so not every single task piles up. And once a month, I want to do something bigger. Organize my fridge, go through my pantry, or this month, I'm organizing and decluttering my closet and drawers. I have not done a clothes edit since I moved here, again in April of 2021, and my drawers are literally not shutting because I have too much stuff in them. I also find a cluttered space equals a cluttered mind, and that has motivated me to stay on top of this. Day number 7 is making my bed and journaling. Now this is now a part of my morning routine, but again for this video, we are thinking small. When you are starting a morning routine, you don't have to instantly add in 10 new items to do in the morning all at once. I wanted to put these in separately from waking up early and morning movement, so you have more options on what you can decide to work on. I was also never a make a bed kind of girl because it felt pointless. It's just gonna get messed up again in a few hours, so why even do it? But one, I do think it helps with the cluttered space, cluttered mind situation. Walking into my bedroom and seeing a fresh bed gives me a good feeling, and it also makes me feel accomplished. And I especially love to open the blinds fully and have a ton of sunlight come in. It makes my room feel bigger and brighter and just has more of this clean feeling to it, especially with a made bed. And now peeling the covers back is a part of my night routine. It like signals it to my brain like, okay, this is when we are done working, we are done with the day, we are getting into sleep mode, which again just helps with my actual sleep routine and getting quality and quantity sleep. After I make my bed is when I journal and write down my daily affirmations for the day. Sometimes they're specific, sometimes they're more broad. I often work on my to-do list in the morning as well to give me a good routine for the day and what my priority should be. And speaking of night routine, day number 8, that is what we are focusing on. Now I do want to make a separate video on my night routine because as I mentioned in my 23 healthy habits for 2023 video, I think this is actually the start of a good morning routine. And now a night routine can look different for everyone. I'm single and I live alone, so a night routine for me is skincare, making a tea, gratitude journaling, and reading. I like to use my Hatch for soothing sounds. It's one of my favorite additions that I've made to my bedroom. Getting into a good night routine has improved my quality of sleep and also means it's easier for me to wake up early in the morning and get on with a productive day. It's kind of like this loop, you see? Day number 9, we are tracking finances. Tracking anything is extremely beneficial. Track your daily habits and your daily movements. What are you spending your energy on? What are you spending your time on? You might not realize how often you actually spend scrolling social media or watching TV. Track what you eat. You might realize that something doesn't actually agree with your body or something really does work with your body. Like mine loves pineapple and mangoes, something I just recently realized through tracking my diet. But also tracking finances was a huge catalyst in changing my entire financial outlook. I couldn't really change my money habits or my bank account until I actually knew what they looked like. Once I started tracking every single dollar I spent and every single dollar I made, my relationship with money changed because I had a better understanding of it. It's like we had communication, which is key in relationships. I began to understand where I could make changes and I started to make financial goals. This year I have a pretty big commitment on a savings goal, and by checking in with myself every single week on finances has improved my financials significantly. Day 10, we have one of my favorite things, which is a solo date. I enjoy my alone time so much. Again, I'm single and I don't have children. I do have a dog you might hear jingle jangling in this video. So I do understand that for me, alone time can be a little bit easier for me to come by. But I'm also a busy gal who works every single day, and I don't count a solo date as me sitting on my phone responding to comments or splicing a video together. Some days I like to take myself out for a pedicure and sushi. Other times I try to enjoy a quiet night at home with my dog, just reading and staying off my phone, or at least staying away from my work. But it's the art of either taking myself out or taking time for myself that really matters, and I aim to do this at least once a month. And day 11, we have home-cooked meals. Nutrition is another really big focus of mine for 2023. Especially because of my hormonal imbalance, this is something I'm looking at really closely, and understanding what isn't great for me, which I'm looking at you, refined sugar, which pains me to say, and looking at what I can add in. I've never heard of hemp seeds until recently, but I have them most mornings now in my yogurt. My FYP is filled with cooking videos because that's what I'm actively searching now. Again, mindful consumption, and I've been trying to get into the habit of eating breakfast to help balance my hormones and blood sugar levels. I'm trying to incorporate more vegetables and really enough protein and fiber in my meals to help keep me full. It's a challenge, but it's one that I've truly come to enjoy. Welcome. So for today, we are focusing on making home-cooked meals. So for lunch, I had ramen, which I know is not the best for you, but in my ramen, I put in spinach and also broccoli just to get a few vegetables in there. Sometimes if I am just having a really busy day and I don't have a lot of time to cook, I go for something like that because ramen is like one of my comfort foods. But I saw a dietitian one time talking about how she also loves ramen, but she loads it up with vegetables. So I personally really like to put spinach and broccoli in mine. And I'm getting ready to make dinner, so I thought that I would do this on camera. I have my dog here next to me. So I got a Home Chef box this week. I have like a spinach and bolognese spaghetti, I think is how you pronounce that, with garlic and herb goat cheese. That sounds really fancy. Or the caprese style chicken pasta bake with balsamic and garlic bread. This one says 5 days, the spinach one says 7 days. So I think I'm just gonna do this one first. That's usually how I do it. And it's one of the oven ready ones. So that's perfection, and it looks like I'll probably have some leftovers for this too, so that's great. I used to actually work with Home Chef many moons ago, but I still have a code with them. It's not an affiliate code, and I'm pretty sure I think they have a referral program that like anyone can sign up for. But I will have it in the description box, but I buy all of my own meals myself. I usually get one at least once a month, if not like every other week. Kind of just depends on like what my schedule looks like if I'm super busy. But I really like to just be able to make my own meals at home, and I'm not the best in the kitchen yet. I'm working on it, especially with like having a focus on nutrition. I'm definitely working on it, but we're not there yet. So Home Chef really helps, and they like have all of the ingredients in here. So it just makes it super simple to do. So this is one of those that you just kind of throw everything in. So I think that's perfect. Like all of the little ingredients that you need, like instead of me having to go out and buy all of these, they send them. Like this is balsamic fig glaze. It's great. Garlic salt, perfect, easy. I also decided that I am gonna throw some spinach in there too. And then I think I'm just gonna make some Brussels sprouts for the side, because I have this bag that should probably be eaten. So I usually just make my Brussels sprouts in the air fryer, so that'll be easy. And also this, since it was a family meal, it actually came with 2 trays and like 2 things of cheese, 2 things of pasta. So I'm actually just gonna save these. Probably make that at a later date. So that's actually kind of cool. All right, got my home cooked meal. This looks super delightful. I've also just kind of been snacking on my Brussels sprouts because the recipe I followed said they needed 12 minutes. They needed like 5. So I've just been snacking on those. And then I'm trying Olipop. I did a taste test on my TikTok, which is just by Samantha March. I've never tried Olipop before. I see a lot of people drinking this as like a soda alternative. It's super good. I got Dr. Goodwin. It tastes really similar to a Dr. Pepper. It's delightful. I'm just going to enjoy my dinner and my little solo date at home night. And finally, day 12, we have come to reward yourself. Now, when I first created the Healthy Habits Challenge all the way back in 2019, the original Healthy Habits calendar had on there reward yourself multiple times, because I think that it's so important. It's important to clap for ourselves, and not just by making that Target run or getting the salted caramel cold foam at Starbucks. 2 things I love to treat myself with. But also internally acknowledging that you are doing the work. You're working on bringing healthy habits into your life. You are taking the time to write down your goals, and then write down the smaller goals to help you to create those bigger goals. You are empowered to feel your best self, and in turn, you're more likely inspiring those around you to do the same. So acknowledge that. Write that down in your gratitude journal. Enjoy that new lipstick that you've been wanting to try, so you bought it after having a productive month. Be proud of yourself for both the big, the medium, and even the micro achievements. And those are the 12 healthy habits in 12 days. I hope that you will try out one habit or maybe even more after you watch this video. Maybe by next month, you will be on track for a great routine for the rest of 2023. And if you're looking for some further motivation, I do have the free download, which is available on my site, which is bysamanthamarch.com, the Healthy Habits Calendar for January, which you can take into the rest of the months for 2023 as well. Stay inspired, friends, and I'll see you in the next one.